All right, here we go. You ready?
Professor Noel Fitzpatrick
We better rock and roll.
is a pioneering veterinary surgeon. He's invented countless operations
I have to say, this is the most beautiful implant we have ever created.
that have transformed the lives of many of the nation's pets.
Hello! Hello!
In this series, we go behind the scenes
I'm going to lift off the skull now.
as Noel attempts some of the most groundbreaking surgeries of his career,
We're going into the unknown here.
as he reveals the scientific and technological breakthroughs that are driving his work.
That's amazing. That's very cool.
From regenerative medicine
That's a new world. Right there in front of your eyes, a brand new world.
to 3D printing and milling
This blows my mind.
and creating bionic limbs, he's pushing the boundaries of veterinary medicine
Isn't that awesome?
further than ever before.
We are on the brink of an entirely new paradigm of medicine and an entirely new era of hope for all species.
In this episode, Noel uses advances in cell technology to grow new cartilage for a puppy's shoulder
If this works, it heralds a whole new era of regenerative medicine.
and implants stem cells in a limb catastrophically damaged by a car accident.
If we win, we save the leg.
Fitzpatrick Referrals, Kate speaking, how can I help?
Sarah and daughters Lauren and Emma have travelled 124 miles from Coventry to bring the youngest member of their family, 7-month-old puppy Flo, to Noel's Surrey practice.
She's an Italian Spinone. She's energetic and mad. Mad, energetic and mad.
They are, believe it or not, quite very gentle souls. You know, there's
They
just.
get tired. When they're tired, they're soppy.
Oh, she's very soppy. Flo, since we went on holiday to the seaside, has been limping on her left leg, and she's only 7 months, so it's a bit of a shock, really.
Sarah took Flo to her local vet, but after x-raying her and discovering complex shoulder damage, he decided to refer her to Noel. Noel often takes on the most difficult medical cases where there are no apparent solutions.
I'm on a mission to get animals out of pain. And if that means innovation, then we've got to embrace that.
Noel's pushing boundaries by using advances in cell technology to rebuild body parts.
The holy grail of regenerative medicine is the perfect marriage of biomechanics and biology. Cells meeting man-made structures so that they're custom specific for each individual patient. That will change medicine forever.
Flo, please, Flo.
Oh, no.
Hello, sorry for keeping you. Hello. Hi, Flo. Oh, she's...
warn you.
Hi. What's your name?
Emma.
Emma
Lauren.
and Lauren. Please take a seat, Emma and Lauren. What's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay. You got her because you specifically wanted this breed?
Yes, I've had 2 before.
Right.
Um,
They're totally
but I've
crazy,
had-
you know that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Now, girls, do you understand what's happening with Flo? Flo has a problem in her left front
Not
leg.
looking like there's anything wrong with her now, but
As I move the leg, this is the shoulder, okay?
Flo.
That's impossible to let you eat that. Can't be eaten. Not
I haven't had
not for
breakfast this
eating.
morning.
Not for eating. Now that you're listening, sit down. Now that you're listening, this is your shoulder. And the x-ray pictures that have been taken by your vet suggest that there's a problem with this. So let's have a look. Right, I'm just going to show you what the problem is. Now the wrist is probably fine. Yep. The toes are probably all fine. The elbow probably also is fine. And I'll only do this briefly. Usually it hurts
Good girl, well done. All right.
in that position there. Okay, that's fine.
All right.
It's because there's raw bone here.
Right.
So there's a big hole which is a bit like a crater on the moon. That is the surface of the joint flaking away.
The hole is the result of missing cartilage in Flo's shoulder. Without this cushioning, her bone is exposed inside the joint, causing pain.
Can I sit in between you girls? Here are your options. Option 1 is to do nothing. Option 2 is a synthetic plug. Option 3 is to do the conventional thing. So for the last 50 years, what people would do is they would go in and take that flap out. And by poking holes in this, you try and get some cells to grow through from underneath, from the bone underneath. Okay? Next option will be to take those cells, develop a plug, inject the cells into the plug, and put the plug into the joint.
Right.
Then, in theory, you would have a three-dimensional scaffold of the dog's own cells.
Noel has replaced missing cartilage with a synthetic plug before, but it's believed it will be a world first to fill the hole with an implant seeded with her own cells.
Have you done many?
I've done none.
Oh, right.
And nobody has in a living clinical patient,
Right.
to my knowledge. And the risks of this are infection or rejection or not filling.
Yes.
I have to give you all the options. Yep, that's your diagram. It's your elbow, it's your shoulder, it's your solution. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes, I know. Right, let's get the CT scan. Let's have you back a little later and let you have a think about it. Come on, Bubs.
If Sarah chooses the brand new treatment for Flo's shoulder, Noel will be faced with a huge challenge.
If we can get cells grown from this animal's body to create a three-dimensional structure inside a man-made device, then that will change everything.
I can see us going for the sci-fi option, which is growing this plate that he's going to put into her cartilage. And whatever we choose, it's going to be a gamble, but I think we've got the opportunity to do something amazing.
Now, I did all of the imaging on Flo's shoulder. The good news is there's no other joint affected. Okay. The bad news is it's every bit as bad as we thought it would be.
It's a big hole.
Okay, so tell me your thoughts.
We like the growing
the
plate.
Okay.
I think that's coming out as top.
Okay.
First, Noel needs to inspect Flo's shoulder joint for damage. He will try to harvest living cells from the cartilage that has flaked off from the hole in the humerus bone.
That's fine. So I've got the camera inside the joint now, and it shows us this big flap of cartilage there. Okay, so that is the flap of cartilage from the surface that has flaked away. And it's actually in two big pieces, so it's quite an extensive flap. If I put them into some growth medium now, we can check if there are any living cells in there. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut out some living cartilage from just the edge of that hole. We're going to put those in the growth medium as well, send those to the lab, and we know they're going to grow. Mark that living tissue too. What we hope for is that the new synthetic surface seeded with those living cells will grow into a new joint surface. And then Flo will have effectively a normal joint. That's the plan. We're finishing here.
The cells are taken to a specialist lab at University College London. Noel hopes he's extracted enough to cultivate millions of new cells to fill the hole in Flo's shoulder.
Sleepy girl.
Noel is not just trying to find ways to grow cartilage cells to restore joints. He also wants to use bone marrow stem cells to regenerate bone. But biology on its own is not enough.
The principle of regenerative medicine is in fact to remake parts of the body. And to do that effectively, you need a scaffolding within which cells can create new anatomy.
Noel is hopeful that in the future his patients will benefit from the perfect combination of biology and engineering.
I will not ever pick up a scalpel blade unless I believe morally, ethically, and in the welfare interests of that dog that it's the right thing to do.
Lisa has had her 7-year-old Border Collie, Izzy, since she was 10 weeks old.
A bit cold out there.
Izzy's been referred to Noel after her leg was crushed in a road traffic accident 5 months ago. Despite having surgery, due to infection, loss of blood supply and poor bone healing, the leg hasn't fully repaired, leaving Izzy in danger of losing it.
She's very crazy. She loves playing football and watching TV, so she's had to rest a lot, you know, over the last 5 months and stuff. So it's been hard for her, you know, and she's on painkillers. I know everybody says more than just a dog, but she definitely is, you know, she's like a little friend.
Amputating the leg has been recommended, but Izzy also suffers from arthritis in both back legs, so Lisa wants to see if Noel can offer an alternative solution.
Nice to see you. What's your first name, please?
Lisa.
Lisa, please take a seat. Okay, hello. Hi, Izzy. How are you? Hi. How old are you then?
She is 7 this year.
7.
Lisa lives alone and relies on Izzy.
It wasn't well, and I had an operation and stuff, and then I had to spend a lot of time recuperating in the house, and so, you know, Izzy was like my only company, if you like, for most of the time. Keep me sane through difficult days, definitely. You know, she's very important to me, and that's why it's just all been so upsetting, really.
What happened?
We're out for a walk, and early in the morning, and a motorbike come past and backfired, and she just like wriggled out of her lead and run after it and got hit by a car, straight out in front of a car.
Izzy's local vet used screws and a plate to fix the break, but the blood supply problem and infection destroyed more bone, leaving her foot loose and painful.
All right, sweetheart, let's have a look at you. So that's loose in there. So it's broken in here still. Then obviously it's painful.
Easy.
And I can understand your reluctance to take the leg off, because actually the rest of the leg's fine. The foot is fine, the tendons are fine, and the leg is still working. You can't leave it as it is, because the foot's going to fall off.
Yeah.
Anytime now, those 3 screws will give out and you'll have a fracture with the foot hanging off. And option number 2, chop the leg off. That's up to you. And bear in mind, it is your decision at the end of the day. The next option is something that is brand new, and we don't know for sure if it would work.
Okay.
You would chop out all the dead bone and the dead space, and you would fill that gap with a titanium scaffold containing stem cells. And those stem cells will be extracted from this dog's own bone marrow.
Okay.
The problem we've got is that might not be enough bone to attach the scaffold to, and you might have to bridge right across the wrist.
Okay.
So effectively you'd be fusing the wrist solid. Lots and lots and lots of dogs have a fused wrist. You'd hardly notice from a distance. They run across the field fine.
I know, but that's what people say about dogs with 3 legs.
Yes, that's true.
So which is like the right thing to do?
Impossible to know, because it's a very individual decision. Go and take a walk, have a think,
Okay.
come back and see. I'll see my next one.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I won't be long.
If Lisa decides to go ahead, Izzy will be the first clinical patient to receive this brand new treatment from Noel.
We've used stem cells before. We've used honeycomb metal. But what we've never done is make a bespoke, custom-built, 3-dimensionally designed metallic scaffold into which we seed the patient's own stem cells to regrow a piece of bone which hasn't existed for a long, long time because it got infected. The possibilities for treatment with Izzy really do represent a revolution in orthopedics, not just for animals, but also for humans.
Here's Mummy. Here's Mummy.
Come our reception
Here's
dog.
Mummy.
I think it's the most difficult decision I've probably ever had to make. Do you amputate her leg and in 3 weeks she'll be running around on 3 legs after a football, or do you just try that wee bit harder and that wee bit longer and, you know, give her back her 4 legs?
Flo, a 7-month-old Italian Spinone, is about to go home after recovering from her operation to remove cartilage cells from her shoulder. The cells went to University College London, and today Noel's anxious to find out if Professor Gordon Blunn and his team have succeeded in multiplying them.
Because these cells are actually from normal cartilage, which has been detached, they are pre-programmed to produce the matrix that supports the load in that part of the joint.
And they know what to do already.
Correct.
So the really exciting thing for me is that you've managed to culture actual living cells from the flap, which historically we thought was dead. Well, I mean, that's never been done before, to my knowledge.
I can't recall that that's been done either. But the cells look really healthy. They look really similar to the cells that you obtain from the periphery of the joint as well.
Anita, hi.
Hello.
Have you got cells from Flo in this flask right now?
Yes, these are the cells
Wow.
from Flo.
They're actually moving.
Well, these cells have grown so well that we've got 5 million extra cells with, which can be incorporated into fibrin glue. And
there they are.
That you can.
Wow! No, I can't
you'll have
touch.
to wear
I have to wear
gloves.
gloves. it's like ooh, every Christmas comes at once. Wow. In here is a little disc of metal, honeycomb metal, and that's a titanium structure that is almost the same as the honeycomb structure of bone. And on top of that, we've stuck like Velcro a layer of plastic fabric. The cells are injected into that so that they can attach their tentacles to the carpet and then resurface the joint. Now, I personally have never done this before, and to our knowledge, very few people in the world ever have.
These things are also going to be used in humans, so the information that you'll get from Flo will be phenomenal and will be able to be used in other applications as well. So
to save other dogs and to save other humans.
Exactly.
Nita, thank you so much.
That's okay. Sorry, I can't.
Noel leaves UCL with millions of Flo's cartilage cells. Now his challenge is to successfully re-implant them. Flo's back for the groundbreaking operation to implant the specially grown cartilage cells. If it's successful, it will stop her limping and give her a pain-free life.
I'm just excited and nervous at the same time this time, I think, just because this is the one now where we see whether it's going to work or not.
Oh, is our pre-med working?
You made the dog drunk.
Oh, dear. That worked pretty well, didn't it?
Okay, you ready?
Millions of Flo's cartilage cells are prepped, ready to go back inside her.
Yeah. Shakes. Yeah, it's a lovely lady.
I'll look after her for you.
Have we got all the cells, girls?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, cool. Everything's ready to rock and roll? Good, excellent.
Noel plans to fill the hole in Flo's shoulder with an implant that consists of a disc of porous titanium metal that's similar to the honeycomb structure of bone, topped by a carpet-like layer of woven fabric containing polylactide, a climbing frame for cartilage cells. It's seeded with Flo's cells, and more will be injected. Noel hopes over 12 weeks the cells will fill the hole in Flo's shoulder with new cartilage of the same type as she had before.
All righty. Okay. This is a big day for Flo because what we do is ultimately going to determine the destiny for the joint, and obviously that's her destiny in terms of pain and arthritis for the future. Okay, so here we can see the head of the humerus, and this is the big hole in the middle. So that is literally half of the entire head of the humerus has a big hole in it, and that's what we're going to try and fill. But before we do that, we're going to have to drill a hole 8 millimeters down to put the plug in. Well, and once the hole is drilled, there's no way back. That's it, stay there, don't move. You ready? All right, where's the implant? In we go. Good, got it. Right, this is a little miracle of modern science. That's the metal on the base. This is the new cells on the surface. And I'm now gonna put it in the joint. I'm going to line the implant up in the hole here. Yeah, that looks good. So we've now managed to insert the mesh all the way in. We've taken the cells from Flo's joint, grown it into 6 million cells. 2 million is in the carpet already. Another 4 million is in here, and that's going to mix with this to form a glue to stick that carpet down. And in 12 weeks' time, Flo should have a new joint surface. If this works the way we plan it to work, it heralds a whole new era of regenerative medicine, not just for dogs that come after Flo, but for animals and humans everywhere. That's a thing of rare beauty right there. Look at that, direct hip. Exactly perpendicular to the surface, exactly at the junction where the bone is going to grow into the metal and become one, missing the growth area by 1 millimeter, and that surface should hopefully grow in.
Hello.
Hey Sarah, it's Noel.
Hello, Noel. How are you?
Fine, fine.
Has it gone all right?
It went fine. The post-op images look really good. Now we need biology to smile on us.
Yeah.
And we need the cells to grow. And we won't know that till week 12.
No. All right.
Okay, we'll talk tomorrow. Cheers.
Okay,
Good night.
bye.
Bye.
Oh, those Libby.
7-year-old Border Collie Izzy is being sedated, ready for a 3D CT scan.
Oh, this girl is in.
Lisa has decided to proceed with the pioneering surgery to save her leg.
If the plates are down. But there's a high risk of fracture with it as well, so we don't want to move too much.
Noel will now attempt to grow new bone to bridge a 4-centimetre gap in Izzy's leg. If successful, Izzy will be Noel's first patient to benefit from this groundbreaking treatment.
Come on in, come on in. So I've got all the information I need up here on the screen. So that bone is probably dead to there. And that top bone is probably dead up as far as there. So to get living bone, I have to saw there and there, okay?
Creating a new bespoke implant will take several weeks, and there's no guarantee of success.
The only bit left that I'm a wee bit bothered about is that the level of pain she's in and how long that's going to take.
You're right to be bothered about that. I'm bothered about it. If I could put a plate in her tomorrow, I would. But it just doesn't exist. We have to make it.
Oh, fair enough. I know you'll do your best.
I will, of course, do my
And that's
best.
like,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it doesn't mean it'll work. I have failed, and I certainly remember my failures, but I will definitely do my best. Now, who's in here? There we go. I'm going to go and get your tablets.
Izzy will be on painkillers until the implant is ready. Lisa now has the worrying task of keeping her from breaking the bone off her existing plate. If she fails, Izzy could still lose her leg. It's late evening, and Noel's working with engineer Jay Maswania to design an implant that will encourage bone regeneration in 7-year-old Border Collie Izzy's leg. The 3D CT scan has provided a millimetre-accurate blueprint for their computer model.
So concerns will be mechanical failure, failure to incorporate, infection, implant breakage. Lots of possible problems.
I haven't seen the pictures.
The challenge they face is the sheer size of the gap and that a leg is subject to high stress levels through movement.
So I guess that leaves us with bridging options of a solid chunk of metal or a trabecular metal.
Okay. I have created a spacer which is about that length.
Cool.
Trabecular metal is over 80% porous, which means stem cells can grow through the tiny holes and fuse into bone.
That's exactly right.
The implants themselves don't fail that often, it's the fixation often fails. And that is challenging.
Now the design's complete, the implant's ready to be built using the latest in 3D printing technology. Lisa's facing her own challenge, protecting Izzy from breaking her old plate while waiting for the new one.
She does get fed up, and she seems a little bit down in the dumps, but I just keep telling her we're nearly there. There's been some evenings that I've thought if Izzy could speak, she'd say, just I've had enough, get rid of it, you know?
At Noel's factory, Fitz Bionics, Izzy's bespoke implant receives the final touches. And biomechanics expert Gordon Blunn is again part of the team.
We could do it fairly quickly.
Using titanium mesh to bridge such a big gap of missing bone is unprecedented.
What I'm hoping to do is take bone marrow, spin out the stem cells, suspend them, put some fibrin glue in with them and spray them in here to stick.
Yes.
So if we get physical bone to grow down into that, that'll be a world first.
Correct.
But innovation does not come cheap.
Manufacture in a factory costs tens of thousands, and all you could charge a patient is a few thousand. The reason I do it is to move surgical practice forward so that we're not going to stay in the Stone Ages. You've done all the hard work. All I have to do is pop it in the leg.
I'm not sure that's quite true, actually.
I feel so inadequate right now. That's incredible. I mean, it is amazing science.
Yeah.
Who have we got here? Izzy. Lovely. Take a seat. Thank you.
With the implant finished, the day has finally come for the operation. If it works, it will save Izzy's leg.
I'm nervous but excited, you know. We've been counting down kind of thing. She has been in, you know, quite a bit of pain with it.
So, you well know, Lisa, that we've spent weeks now working on this implant. I mean, literally weeks. It's been a labour of love for myself and the engineers. And I've got it right here. And this is what it looks like. Right, come on then. You ready?
Izzy's future on 4 legs depends on the implant. The hope is technology and biology will combine to grow new bone.
All right, you're welcome.
But if one or other fails, amputation will once again be the only solution.
So this is the first time it's ever been done? It's ever going to be done?
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
It's so futuristic to think about it, you know, he's replacing a bone with titanium alloy and taking cells out of her pelvis to make it grow together. I mean, if you read it in a science fiction book, you'd think it was, but it's just, she's the first. So, you know, happy to jump.
It's 8:30 at night as Noel begins the operation.
Okay, let's go. This is a high risk, potentially high reward operation. High risk because we're doing something we've never done before. High reward because if we win, we save the leg. More swabs, please. So we're going to take out some bone marrow from the pelvis.
The stem cells will be extracted from the bone marrow. Then they'll be mixed with glue and sprayed into the titanium mesh.
Number 11 blade, please.
First, Noel will take out the old implant. After cutting out the dead bone, the gap will be bridged by the block of trabecular titanium mesh. The mesh will then have bone marrow stem cells sprayed into it. And hopefully over several weeks, these cells will grow through the mesh and solidify, creating 4 centimetres of new bone.
We're going to cut in and do our best. We put plates and screws on bone every day. The difference is we have a new special mesh and we have a new way to get the cells to grow into it. And that could be a game changer.
Noel takes out the plate that was put in when Izzy first broke her leg.
Here we go. Implant coming out.
This will be sent to the lab to check whether the bug that caused Izzy's catastrophic infection is still there.
So I'm cutting into the wrist now, splitting all the bones of the wrist open. So I'm going to fuse them all together.
Next, he removes the dead bone.
Okay, I think I'm at about the level of living bone, top and bottom now. I'm going to put the mesh onto the base of the bone, and now I'm going to lever it up onto the top bone. No, can't do that. The most important thing is not to sacrifice these blood vessels or nerves. That's absolutely vital. Otherwise the foot will become rotten. There we go, we're getting there now. Hold that.
Finally, Noel is able to screw the implant into position with the mesh perfectly lined up to bridge the gap in Izzy's leg and fuse her wrist.
Next step is the big step, of course, where we inject the biological soup of growth factors and cells that's going to help the bone at the top to grow through the metal and join the bone at the bottom. Here we go. Turn on the air. Okay, that's us done. And hopefully, within a couple of days, she'll be walking on this pretty good.
It's now after midnight. Izzy's operation has lasted more than 4 hours.
Well, it's pretty good, considering it's the first time that I've ever done it. We can see the spacer here between the bones. So hopefully the cells will grow through that and form a solid bone from bottom to top.
Hello?
Lisa, it's Noel. Sorry it's so late. Yeah, I guess you're expecting a late call anyway.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Everything's fine. It's done, and she's waking up.
Okay.
It was tricky for various technical reasons that I'll spare you the detail of now.
Okay.
My challenge, not yours.
Okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It will be several weeks before Noel knows if the new bone has grown. 24 hours after her pioneering operation to implant millions of cartilage cells, Flo has recovered most of her youthful energy. The next day, her family returned to the practice to take her home.
Hey, Flo. How are you? How are you? How are you? Look at you running around. Honestly, dogs are extraordinary, especially young dogs. They just bounce back like nothing happened. Come here, put your harness on. It's extraordinary, really. I'm very excited because this is a CT scan of the first time ever in a clinical case, for me certainly, and as far as I know for anybody, where we've put the metal in that the bone is going to physically grow into, and then the cartilage is here, which should grow into a joint surface which lasts her for the rest of her life and grows with her as she grows. Isn't that amazing?
Hello, sweetheart. Oh, kiss.
She's happy to see you.
You've been a good girl.
It will be weeks before the family know if the cells are growing. But while they wait, they're thrilled to be taking their youngest member home. After a serious traffic accident, Izzy underwent brand new surgery to try and save her leg. A week later, Lisa arrives to take her home.
When they said to come down, I just ran out and drove down so fast, not breaking any speed limits, of course, but you know. But yeah, very excited. So when you done the surgery, did it go okay? You said you had a couple of challenges.
It did, yeah, I did have challenges. So what I mean by that is that I had difficulty getting both of those plates in position. I had to modify the bone a bit to make it perfect, but I got there. Well done so far to Izzy. She's such a sweet dog. Yeah, she's really sweet, so I'm glad to see you smile.
Thank you. I definitely underestimated this week because I thought I've had all these weeks of minding her in the house, and I thought the week she comes in it'll be nearly like a relief, and it's just been awful. I've thought about nothing else.
No.
Baby.
There we go.
No. Oh.
There we go. Oh, careful. Let's go into reception.
Now it's a waiting game for Lisa, hoping the new bone will grow. The Gerards have had the tough task of keeping their exuberant puppy from overexerting herself for 12 weeks.
Now, Flo, please. She really is, like, absolutely raring to go, isn't she? That's great. Keep going. Keep going. So today's the day, girls.
My birthday today.
It's your birthday?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Happy birthday. That's fantastic. It's Mummy's birthday.
This is my present, yeah.
What a great potential present.
Fingers crossed.
Now comes the climax of 3 months of healing.
I'm going to stick a camera inside the joint. What I want to see is a nice smooth surface covered with new cartilage. What I do not want to see is a big hole.
It's a big moment, not only for Flo's quality of life, but also for the future of regenerative medicine.
Oh, that back edge is beautiful right there. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. If you look down the back there, you'll see that in the foreground, that's where the graft is, and in the background is where the parent cartilage is. It's not perfectly smooth, but then it's never going to be perfectly smooth. But what you're looking for, there's no big hole there. Wow, big sigh of relief all around. Regenerative medicine is the future, my friends.
What? That's so nice. What's so nice there? That's a full body massage.
So I had a camera sticking in here, and what I saw was that the surface here had formed a nice white new plug over the hole that was in the shoulder. And it looks really nice. So Flo needs to stay on the lead for 2 more weeks.
Okay.
And then she can run and do whatever she wants.
Oh my goodness.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
In here, this is the start of some really amazing science. That's what I think we're really proud of her for.
Here's your cat.
12 weeks ago, Izzy had a groundbreaking operation to save her leg from amputation. Lisa's come back to the practice to find out if the stem cell-seeded implant has transformed into bone. To prevent stress on her leg, Izzy has not been allowed to run around and has put on several kilos.
Good girl, Izzy. That's awesome. She's walking pretty good. She's always going to be stiff because her wrist is fused solid. She got 3 other problems though. She's massively overweight by several kilos. Secondly, she's got really bad hip arthritis. And thirdly, we've discovered a problem in her lower back where she has a lot of pain going down her sciatic nerves on both sides. The main thing is we can keep her on 4 legs because she's not going to manage well on 3 legs given all of her other problems. So I'm really hoping the scans look okay.
It's always a nerve-wracking moment waiting to find out if a treatment has been successful. But now Izzy's other problems make the stakes even higher.
Come. Okay, the leg's doing fine. So the implant has done what we asked it to do. And the bone has grown in quite well. In fact, very well. So that bone there is growing physically down onto the mesh. You see that?
Yeah.
And at the bottom, you can see the same thing. You see the bone growing up there?
Yeah.
And inside that honeycomb structure, you'll see specks of grey that look very like those specks of grey, and that's bone growing through the mesh. So that's done exactly what we've asked it to do.
Nice one.
Exactly, nice one. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I would find it very difficult to imagine a situation now where that would break. I'm happy to sign off the left front leg.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Are you all right? Yes, Simon. You all right?
So you can walk her literally as much as you like, and the more the better. Let's get that body weight down. Good girl.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I nearly feel a bit stunned about it, if I'm honest. The biology's worked, the technology's worked. She can run and jump and do all the things she's missed so much. She's going to lose a bit of weight now. She's going to have a happy life on 4 legs, and that's all I wanted for her, like, you know. Oh, yes.
Izzy's only been home for a couple of weeks, but already she's losing weight.
Her diet's going great. She's having a carrot a few times a day, which she's grown to love, just as she did her treats. So I think she looks slimmer already. Now that she's not getting her treats and she's allowed to just run about again, she'll soon be back to her fighting weight. I didn't want her to lose her personality, and still there. From the minute I collected her, she was looking for a football to play with, and she's just back to her normal crazy little self.
Flower, come here, what's this? Good girl.
4 months after her operation, Flo is out of pain and back to being the youngest, craziest member of the Gerard family.
She's not limping, she's full of beans, absolute handful most of the time.
What's this, Flo? What's this?
She seems to be fixed, so yeah, we're really happy.
Good girl.
Regenerative medicine will change the world as we know it, will provide cures for diseases that have been incurable, and will alleviate pain and suffering for the betterment of all creatures everywhere.
Just amazing. It's like, I don't know how it worked or anything, it's just worked. It's like magic.